You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 105. Assignments, assessments, and projects, and what they are really about. Because I can tell you now that DT design is not really about the item they're designing, and that historical artifact project is not really about the historical artifacts. The elements that I see a lot of students getting caught up in and spending a lot of time and effort deliberating on and working on so often aren't the critical or important elements of their assignment. So what are these extended and creative tasks actually about, and how can understanding this change the way that you support your hardworking teen and they tackle these tasks? Stay tuned. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey, very important parents and carers. I hope you and your teens are doing great. I am doing brilliantly because I'm recording this in the first week of the school holidays here in Queensland. Everywhere just seems to have crazy different holiday dates this year for some reason. All of the states across Australia span across like 4 weeks or something. New Zealand is on the tail end of those. And of course, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, which I know a growing number of you are, welcome to the podcast if that's you, then you're just coming off the back of exams and looking ahead to that big summer break right now. And I love this time of year, not just because it's school holidays, but because I am planning for our Rock Solid Study quarterly meeting and our quarterly plans. And I'm very excited for what we have in store for you, including something new that I have done before. So I suppose it's not 100% new, but I have never really shared it publicly. So make sure you're on my email list to stay up to date and follow Rock Solid Study on Facebook and Instagram so you don't miss anything. But right here, right now, let's dive into a topic that I know many parents find a little bit mystifying, often frustrating, and students find to be a huge consumer of their time. It's assignments, coursework, inquiries, assessment tasks. Call them what you want. But if your teenager is almost constantly buried in these and you're wondering how to make them more streamlined and less of a burden for your teen, then I hope this episode will help. I want to share with you a behind the curtain fact that I have come to realize over the years, and I can sum it up for you in one sentence. And it will hopefully help you and your teen see and therefore approach these big and extended assignments from a slightly different and hopefully more productive and efficient perspective. Because maybe you've seen your teen spending hours trying to think of a good plot or storyline for their narrative, their creative writing. Or maybe your teen is actually brilliant at that kind of thing. They can come up with an amazing story idea and super creative characters, but their final mark wasn't quite as amazing or brilliant. Or if it was, please just know that that result came from things other than their storyline. And I will explain what those things are in a moment. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an artwork. Maybe it's a painting or a sculpture. Maybe it's a geography inquiry or a historical investigation. Or maybe it's a scientific report. Or maybe it's what I'm going to actually use a couple of real life examples from today, maths and an investigation in maths. And I'm going to use these examples to explain this because I actually think that these maths examples I'm going to share with you are more obvious somehow, and students sort of just get what is happening, but it becomes a bit more blurry or unclear with other subjects. So I'm going to share with you 2 different maths assignments that I have seen set and watched and helped students work on. Now, one was a maths methods assignment. So that's A-level standard maths in England or extension maths equivalent. And they had to design a roller coaster in a graphical software. Now, when I say this, it was just a 2D design, like a line going across the page doing different shapes and things. But the idea was that they would use all different equations and functions to create straight line parts, curves, circles for loop the loops, and then also get the points of each of those different lines and functions to join up using substitution and coordinate mathematics. So it was a challenging task, but was it about the design of the roller coaster? Is the marker looking for a brilliant roller coaster design and how good an experience it will be for the people to ride it? No, obviously not. And I say obviously because I don't think there was a single student who genuinely thought this was about the roller coaster. They just kind of got that the marker was looking for the student to use a variety of different equations, different types of equations, have all those points meet up, because they wanted to show that they could do the maths and show their working and show how they aligned all of those points. And like I said, that one was therefore kind of obvious. But then there was another one I saw, and this was for general maths, and this is where students had to plan a holiday, and they had to find and add up all of the travel costs, accommodation, figure out their travel times, any time differences across different time zones. They had to budget for food and sightseeing, and then also figure out the best savings account and how long it would take them to save up for it. And so this was a more, let's say, real life task, definitely a useful one. But again, was the marker interested in where the student had decided to travel to and what they were going to do for lunch on each day? Or were they more interested in if they could use ratio to do the currency conversion? And could they use percentages to work out the interest and the compounding interest calculations to figure out their savings? Clearly, it's the second option. Now, does it mean that your teen can't enjoy figuring out where they might go and what they might do on that overseas trip? No. Does it mean that your teen can't have a bit of fun making a roller coaster that has some sort of crazy circuit design? No. But should they spend ages researching or designing or deciding on those things based on what looks or sounds fun or interesting? Also, no. Unless it's purely what they are doing for fun in their spare time. Now, I know that this is taking away from the joy of learning. I totally see and get that. But I also know that for a lot of you, there is not much joy for you in watching your teen studying every hour of the day, getting stressed over their design or their storyline, or deciding which bioethics topic to research, and then going and researching 4 of them before they can even decide, to be able to then decide and then start on the real thing. And there is not much joy for students in having little to no life balance and agonizing over things that they don't even need to be agonizing over. They could make a much faster decision if they were basing their design or their decisions on knowing what they need to be showing, what they're going to be marked on, what they're being judged on, what the purpose of this task really is. And realizing that the actual design or the thing that they are producing doesn't really matter at all. Because then they realize that spending hours trying to get the exact right formula or function and the exact meeting point just to get that cool looking drop that they think would be really funky for a roller coaster design, all those hours are saved when they realize they could just use a different function and get the same credit for that assignment. And like I said, if this is their passion, if this is something they just love and they want to spend their time genuinely working on, absolutely all good. But just being clear on that might help them decide where and when they do want to spend their time and effort and where they don't. And realizing what is being done for fun versus what is being done for marks and how to get those marks. So what I hope you can see from these examples is that the assignment that your teen is working on is not so much about the final product that they are supposed to be producing, that they have been set. It's about displaying and showing the knowledge and skills that are actually being assessed. The roller coaster design is not about designing a great roller coaster. It's about graphing the functions, solving the equations. It's requiring them to use graphing software, as well as showing their manual working for the points of intersection or the gradients at those points. The travel plan and the budget isn't about the holiday. It's about proving that they can do ratio calculations with currency conversions, that they can use and demonstrate Earth geometry skills with distance and time difference, and then the budgeting skills and the interest rate calculations. It's a way of them showing and displaying those skills in a given context that's not just a simple test or exam. And it's about applying those skills and that knowledge to a given scenario. And the bonus, especially in the holiday planning project, is that it's one of the few times that students can actually answer the question of, when am I actually ever going to use this in real life, with an actual positive response. But the key here is that this is about displaying specific mathematical skills and concepts accurately and appropriately within a given remit, proving that they know and can do certain things. It's about the skills and the subject knowledge that they are demonstrating through the project. The project is the vehicle for demonstrating their skills, knowledge, and understanding of the subject matter. And it's the same in any project, assignment, or assessment. This is that sentence that I said I can sum everything up in, so I'll say it again. The project is the vehicle for demonstrating their skills, knowledge, and understanding of the subject matter that they are being assessed on. I've touched on this concept before with writing a short story. You can find it in episode 64, Shortcuts to Writing a Stunning Short Story, because so often it feels like the goal is to craft an engaging and entertaining narrative. But the syllabus does not require teachers to create authors. It requires them to create young adults who can use language features appropriately, write with grammatical accuracy, and adapt their writing for specific purposes. The short story is simply the vehicle to assess your teen's grasp and ability to use literary techniques, to use things like metaphors effectively. Can they build suspense using short sentences? Can they craft engaging characters using extended sentences with descriptive language? Are they adhering to the conventions of a particular genre? The story is just the medium through which they are demonstrating these skills. So just like it's not about how good the roller coaster would be to ride, the short story is not about the actual storyline. Yet this is what so many students get caught up in. They get caught up in what design they should do for their Bluetooth speaker for DT. They spend ages deciding what the new sustainable school building design will be. They take hours figuring out which ethical issue they should investigate for biology. Hint, it's the one that has the best stats and research to analyze. It's not necessarily the most interesting topic to your teen. Now, if both of those can intersect, fantastic. But if not, I know now which one I'd choose. And I say now because I never knew any of this as a student. I even talked recently about falling into this trap during my teaching qualification assignment. You can see why I'm so keen to share this. Because understanding that an assessment is simply the vehicle to show off what the examiner or marker is going to be looking for can profoundly shift how you view school assignments, how your teen approaches their school assignments. Instead of seeing them as outcomes to be produced, we start to recognize them as opportunities for students to showcase what they've learned and how they can apply their knowledge, and then make smart and efficient decisions that help them do that in the most effective ways. It might not be the most interesting or unique way. It might not produce the most exciting or unique outcome. And so it may not fit the idea that education is here to spark curiosity. And it would be great if it did. And I can tell you that teachers put a lot of time and effort into trying to make these assignments do that. And of course, we'd love it if it did all of that. But I think for anyone who has seen a student struggling over some mammoth assessment, or it's turned into a mammoth assessment, we know that it can do the exact opposite of igniting a love of learning. And it actually dims that flame. And right now, I want to share this message to try to prevent that part happening. Yes, I believe in teaching in interactive ways to make learning exciting, most definitely. But from my observations and experience, when it comes to assessment, the things that start out fun or interesting can quickly become not so fun or interesting when they are taking 10 times longer than they should, and turn downright depressing when those hours of hard work are rewarded or not rewarded with a less than hoped for result. And so this brings us to the critical point. It's crucial for your teen to know what they're going to be marked on. Not just what the marking criteria are, but specifically what is the marker actually looking for in their writing or in their drawing or in their design in order to tick those criteria. Those are two different things. What are the marking criteria? And then what specifically does that look like in your teen's work? Because many hardworking students are trying to almost score a goal without knowing where the goalposts are. They know which way they're shooting. They know the criteria, but they don't have specific goalposts. And they don't know exactly what they need to be showing or doing to achieve those criteria. Or they don't know exactly what moves things into the next level or band of that criteria as they go up through the scale. What makes their literary devices in their narrative appropriate, and what gets them classed as being sophisticated. When your teen understands the marking criteria, they know exactly what's expected of them, and then they can focus their efforts on demonstrating the specific skills and knowledge that are being assessed through that assessment. So it makes their work much more targeted and effective, and also reduces the stress and any wasted effort along the way. So let's wrap this up with a few key takeaways. Number one, the main point in this episode: assignments are vehicles. They're not about producing the final product or outcome, but about demonstrating skills and knowledge within it. Takeaway number two, understand the marking criteria. Know what's expected, and then focus the time and the effort on those things specifically. I hope you found this episode helpful. Please share it with any other parents who might also find it helpful. And please also leave a rating and review wherever you are listening to this. Have a brilliant week, and I'll see you back here Tuesday next week. Bye. If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week Grade Transformation Program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program, and I'll see you there.